The Constitution Project was really the brainchild, I believe, of Warren Hofstra.
An idea was born to recreate the constitutional debates inside of a virtual Independence Hall.
So this is a recreation of the National Constitution or National Constitutional debate that took place, specifically the parts of the debate that relate to the topic of the doctoral college.
The project that we're working on is a virtual reality immersive program that started last year with Dr. Hofstra, and I wrote the script for James Wilson here, and we are now in the process of scanning the statues here to make them virtual reality characters.
So we're here today to 3D scan a bunch of the signers of the Constitution, and there's all these brass statues here that we're getting to 3D scan.
We have 11 delegates that we're focusing on for this debate in particular, and so we really focused on getting their scans, making sure that we get the specific details of their faces. We're getting the other delegates too to ensure that they're at least present.
For each one of these delegates, we have a virtual template from which with some work, we'll be able to derive an entire avatar that we could use in VR.
We're able to 3D scan that and then convert those into usable models later for a virtual reality experience.
According to the National Constitution Center, there's not a physical recreation of these avatars, or rather of these statues, other than in here. So essentially what we're doing, we're making a digital copy of these very accurate representations of the delegates, which to our knowledge do not exist anywhere else.
We are collecting not just the 3D scans, but pictures, data and information on their height, the sort of clothing that they wore, eye color and hair color, how old were they. We're just collecting everything that we possibly can in order to ensure that when we get into building this simulation, it is as realistic as possible and as close to reality as possible, so that the user both feels immersed and so that it is an educational experience.
So our objective is to create a working model that we can then demonstrate and use. We can road test and then develop it even further for educational purposes, for the interest of the public.
We are building a collaboration between the history departments and our virtual reality programs because we believe immersive history is going to be one of the implications of these new technologies.
We're really exploring a new technology and applying it to history. It's a great opportunity, and we need to find out just how immersive technology can truly immerse someone in the past and make that past live in a way that they gain an understanding of it that they wouldn't have outside of a virtual reality experience.
So I'm super excited about this because I believe this is a new mode of learning that we're going to be replicating in other arenas.
The benefit for students is if they engage in this conversation in the future, they'll have a much richer answer that's grounded not only in their own personal political ideologies, but in the history itself and the reasons people had in 1787. And then they can reflect on whether that's still consistent with their own views of today, whether they would agree with the delegates then, or whether maybe their views need to change. So it's that reflective process that I think is the real benefit of this project.
As far as I've heard at least, just as a 24-year-old student, there's been a lot of debate going on as to whether or not the electoral college is relevant anymore or not. So I think that it's really crucial, no matter which side of the argument that you're on, to really sit down and listen to what the reasons were for and what the reasons are against. Not just today, but when it was originally created. So we have a better understanding of our past as we go on into our future.